We're ready? Do I need to do an introduction, or we've already started?
If you want to introduce it.
I'm Shea. I'm answering questions. That's Richie. He's holding a flag. Let's go. First question, various people, why don't you have a podcast? That is because Tate Frazier will not give me one. Tate Frazier is openly racist, and I would like that on the record. That's not true. I just don't want to do one. What's the next question? Next question, would you rather fight, am I supposed to say who these are from?
Yes, please.
At Jakari Burkham. That's a horrible name. Would you rather fight one Kevin O'Connor-sized hamster or 30 hamster-sized Kevin O'Connors? Either one. Either one. Give me one Kevin O'Connor-sized Kevin O'Connor, and I'm putting them in the dirt. There's nobody at the ringer. I sent a tweet about this one time. The only person I feel like at the ringer who could beat me up in a fight is Brian Curtis, because he's got fucking gigantic bear paws. But yesterday I saw John Gonzalez in like a tight shirt, and he's jacked. So he'd probably give me some trouble too. Who's a better anti-hero, Venom or Raptors Kawhi? Probably Venom, only because that's the first time in a Marvel movie I heard somebody call another person a pussy. I was really surprised by that. So him. Next one from Joe Yu. Tell a story about Bill Simmons, maybe the first time you met, or just something that he'd be kind of embarrassed about, but not enough that he'd fire you. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. I don't want to get fired, and I don't know where the line is. I don't know what stories I'm allowed to tell and not allowed to tell. So skip.
Do you have a story about the first time you met him?
The first time I met him, yeah, I was at Grantland. I had just started. I signed a part-time contract there, so they flew me out to LA to go meet everybody, and I was just sitting in a room with a bunch of other writers, and we were waiting for Bill to show up, and then he showed up like fucking LeBron James walking into a place is what it felt like. He just seemed 10 feet tall and gigantic and very intimidating. It turned out he's a total sweetheart. At something Mike, would you rather have another Outkast album or Tim Duncan coming back for one more season? I don't think either of those. It's fine. Tim Duncan is retired. Like, let that sleep. And we don't need another Outkast album. We have enough perfect Outkast albums already. Next one, at Duff, California. If you could be world famous forever, but it was for being posterized during a highly disrespectful dunk, who would you want dunking on you and why? I want LeBron to dunk on me. I feel like he's very aggressive when he wants to be, when he's dunking. Like, I need like a Jason Terry dunk, or who's the other guy he dunked on? What's it? His buddy. Who's to play on the Cavs? No, it wasn't Dan Gibson. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, give me LeBron dunking on me, because I feel like it would hurt, and I need it to hurt a little bit.
What's your move?
Oh yeah, if I get dunked on, I'm gonna lay there. They're gonna bring the stretcher out for me and everything. I want to be that guy. I want to pretend to be injured. One time I was playing this basketball league, and my buddy Rusty was playing with us. This is how good he was at basketball. His name was Rusty. That's how good he is. And he was awful, but he was really good at like fouling the other players. That was his only job. We were playing a game. Somebody stole the ball and they went down, and it was the other guy and Rusty, and they're both running at each other. And I'm like, oh shit, Rusty's about to kill this guy. And the guy jumped, and Rusty jumped too, but he didn't try to block the ball. He just jumped into the guy, and they both crashed into each other. Both just slammed onto the floor. Everybody over here were all running over there like, oh my God, these guys are dead. And we're looking, and Rusty's laying there, and he's all the way like spread out here. And we're on the other side of the court now, and he's laying there, the other guy's laying there, and then this is what I see from Rusty. And then he was waiting for the other guy to get up because he knew he was going to be in trouble if the other guy was hurt, and he wasn't. It was fantastic. Shout out Rusty Moss. Question from Mark Allen. The best taco to eat with Big Red, and why is it barbacoa? It is barbacoa. It's actually barbacoa and bean. I don't like the thing that people do all the time on the internet where they're like, what is your favorite movie and why is it blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not clever, guys. You got to stop. A lot of variations on this question. Who is Michael Scott of the NBA? I don't know. Who's the Michael Scott of the NBA? You need somebody who's like kind of inappropriate, but also a sweetheart. I don't know.
At one point, it felt like Dwight Howard.
The issue with Dwight is Michael Scott is ultimately a very likable person, and you want to root for him and you want to be his friend, but nobody wants to hang out with Dwight. Like, Dwight doesn't even want to hang out with Dwight. Next question. At Inatech_global. Shea, what's the most underrated fast food restaurant? That's Arby's, sadly. Arby's is disgusting and delicious, which is exactly what you want from a fast food restaurant. At Cole Watts, who is the most Spursy player to have never been a Spur? That's a long list. Mike Conley would be fantastic. Shane Battier, fantastic. Sean Livingston would have been a great Spur. Basically, anybody that you watched them and you felt like they were underappreciated, that person. Or anybody on the Grizzlies from like 2004 to 2015. At Troy to the World. Oh, what up, Mary? What do you do for self-care? And do you know what Chingo Bling is up to? I do not know what Chingo Bling is up to. He's somewhere yelling at somebody in Spanish, I'm certain. As far as self-care, I don't know. I just lay down a lot. I spend a lot of time laying down. And maybe my other thing is yelling at people. It makes you feel really good to yell at people, like strangers. Maybe sometimes, not Richie. Richie, you're doing a bang-up job right now. You look very statuesque. Next question. At Mboro95, you're stuck on the bus from Speed. What NBA player do you want taking on the Keanu Reeves role to get you and the other passengers out alive? I need a hero. So give me, if it's not a retired person, then give me Tim. Tim Duncan's going to get the job done. If it is a retired person, then give me, not a retired person, then give me Russell Westbrook. I don't know if he's going to save us, but I do know we're all going to die. Next question. Where do my questions go? Sean, what are you doing here, buddy? Oh, there it is. Oh, you just brought the same ones up. What's your middle name? Matthew. How about that? Next question. You can only listen to one rapper. Who would you choose? J. Cole, Jermaine Cole, or Kill Edward? This is a terrible question. I'll cut my ears off. That's what I'll do. No, I don't. Everybody always asks me J. Cole questions all the time because I said I don't like J. Cole music. Like, I don't understand what the big deal is. You don't have to like everybody.
What do you listen to right now? What's new that you're listening to?
I listened to the Sheck West album. That's what I was listening to as I was walking over here. And then all of a sudden I was sprinting over here. This is fantastic. Live Sheck West, die Sheck West. This is my Sheck West impression. Hold on. Bitch! That was good, right? I practiced that all last night. In honor of their season opener tonight, please rank the Pacers on how likely they are the police. Well, Oladipo's on the police. On the Pacers, but I don't think he's the police. I don't know anybody else who's on the Pacers. That's how good the Pacers are. Young Raspberry, John Wick or Michael Scarn? Michael Scarn, probably. But you didn't frame the question any other way, so I'm just going to assume this means, like, who's going to die. Next one, at Omar Garabai. I don't know. Which scene in Selena is your favorite? My favorite scene in Selena is when... Oh, it's the mall scene. It's got to be the mall scene when she doesn't want the dress after all. Anybody who's seen Selena knows exactly what I'm talking about. Anybody who hasn't seen Selena should make some friends with a Mexican because they will make you watch Selena. At Yarn Bison. What a name. Do you think it's possible once Pop retires that Duncan would come back and coach the Spurs? I do. I do think that's possible. I don't think it's very likely, but Tim Duncan is alive, and you have to be alive to coach. So, boom. I actually mentioned this idea to Kurt Goldsberry, a buddy of mine who's working at the Spurs, with the Spurs, and he told me absolutely not. So maybe not. You should do it. At HAC9811, if you had to build a rec basketball lineup comprised of actors from your favorite movies, who would be your starting five? If we're talking about, like, I want people who have played basketball in movies, give me in Bedazzled when Brendan Fraser was the 7-foot basketball star. He scored like over 100 points in his basketball game. He could be my center. If you have him, you're not losing to anybody else. But to fill out the rest of the lineup, at point guard, give me Lola Bunny. She's very good handles, very impossible to guard. Plus, she's a fucking rabbit, which is cool. Give me Wesley and Woody from White Men Can't Jump, Sydney and Billy. And then for my last one, give me Shep from Above the Rim. Shep came in and hung fucking 40 points in the championship game in like 2.5 minutes. Give me Shep. If the Spurs did not exist, what bandwagon are you joining? I'm not joining any bandwagon. The Spurs exist, and I don't care what you have to say about that. Next question. Van Dyke Marks. What was the moment you realized that Reggie Miller was one of your favorite players? Ooh, that's a good question. It happened in middle school. We didn't have cable, so we weren't watching like a bunch of basketball games, but we would watch the Sunday games. And it was a Sunday game, and the Pacers were playing, and Reggie was just out there like fucking pushing people and running his mouth. And I had never seen a player do that. Most of the games I had watched were Spurs games, and nobody on the Spurs was really doing that sort of thing. And I just thought it was cool. I thought it was cool that he was kind of skinny, and he had big ears and like kind of pokey teeth, and he was just running around being annoying. And I was like, that's what I want to be when I play basketball. Because it wasn't just that, but he was also like winning. And if he wasn't winning, he was fighting while he was losing. I think that that's a cool characteristic to have. At Squaltimore, who is the Breanna Stewart of the NBA? The Asia Wilson, the Della Devil, Lena Della Don. I don't like when people are like, who's the WNBA version of the NBA player or the NBA version of the WNBA? Like, I don't know. I don't like that stuff. Usually don't like to do that. Next question. At Mystery Lamb, Shea, who would you replace on the Spurs roster with Kobe Bryant? Today, I wouldn't replace anybody on any Spurs roster with any version of Kobe Bryant ever. You could be like, Shea, we'll put this Kobe on the Spurs and you'll win 6 more championships. And I'd be like, I guess we won't have 6 more championships then. No, thank you. Joe Yu. This is the second Joe Yu that sent in a question. Shea, who is someone that you were sure was going to be a star in the NBA that you're completely wrong about? Oh, I know exactly who it was. It was me. I thought I was going to be... I don't know why y'all are laughing. I really thought I was going to be a star. I started playing basketball in middle school. I was like... I wasn't very good yet, but by the time I got to high school, I was really good. I like made 10 3-pointers in the game one time. I was really convinced that I was going to be in the NBA. And then I went to college, and I went to Sam Houston State University. And in the gym, the way it's set up, you have there were 3 courts there. I think it was 3 courts. And the first court was like for all the shitty people to play. And then the second court was like all of the mid-level competitive people to play. And then the last court was the college basketball players playing against each other. And you had to like work your way up to go through them. And I started out here and I was fucking killing everybody. And I was like, great. And then I got here and I struggled a little bit, but I was able to like get picked to play on this team. It was one of the best days of my life. And I got picked and they fucking shit all over me. And this was like the backup version of the Sam Houston State University Bearcats who couldn't get to other places. And they were just killing everybody. You have no idea how good college players are until you like have to stand next to one of them, and they're gigantic and they're this wide and they can jump to the ceiling and they run faster than you, they shoot better than you, they do everything better than you do. It was me. I was the one who didn't make it. Jake Murphy, what is realistically the best case scenario for the Spurs this season, and when the hell are the Spurs going to do a point guard? I don't know what they're going to do at point guard. Every time they fucking sign a point guard, he falls apart. But realistically, I mean, they won 47 games last year, and they didn't have Kawhi. He played, I think, 9 games. We added DeMar DeRozan. I don't understand why we can't win somewhere between 43 and 50 games. Probably closer to 43, but maybe 50 if everything breaks right. Next question, Casey Rogers. Which player will have the best meme of the 18-19 season? It's going to be Joel Embiid, but he's going to be on the wrong side of it. We saw it last night in the game. Players are legit going after him already. They're trying to cross him up. They're trying to dunk on him because they know if they don't, he's going to talk shit on Twitter. Probably even if they do, he's going to still, but they're coming after him. Something crazy is going to happen with Joel this season. Mark D, what are your feelings on the movie Air Force One? I like it. You've got Harrison Ford as the president against Gary Oldman doing a very bad accent. I'll take it. I like any sort of very contained thing. Like if you put a movie on a plane, I want to watch it. If you put it in a train, if you put it on a boat or a submarine, it's cool because we know the stakes automatically.
What are your thoughts on the Nelly song, Air Force One?
Oh, it's terrible. Terrible song and a terrible shoe. Aaron Joseph Boma, if you're forced to be on an island for a week straight with only one other person and the options are Kevin O'Connor or Kawhi Leonard, who are you choosing? I got to go with Kawhi. Because he's not going to talk to me, first of all. Kevin O'Connor will not shut the fuck up. He's always trying to tell me like a thing he read on Basketball Reference or something. Kawhi's not going to do that. Also, Kawhi's like big and strong if some shit goes down. Like if there's a bear on the island, me and Kevin are getting eaten. But if Kawhi's there, maybe we don't. Ben Rush or Rush, who is the all-time Dion Waiters Heat Check Award for The Office across all seasons? That's Mindy, or Kelly. Mindy Kaling is Kelly. She's the funniest one. Like line for line on the show, it's Mindy. She's fantastic. Gabe Murphy, what rap artist would you most like to see dunk on Kobe? This is what you do. You take J. Cole, because he can dunk. I need a rapper who can dunk. And you put him in the game, and they're playing like the Celebrity All-Star game, but it's only like a one-on-one thing that we just started for the new season. And he crosses up Kobe, he gets his shoulder in front of him, they both junk, he dunks on him, everybody goes crazy, and then we close the gym doors and lock him forever. And there you go. You gotta swerve. John S. Just saying that thanks to you, 9 out of every 10 people pronounce my last name like yours when it's obviously not spelled the same way. Oh, his last name is spelled Siruno. So they're pronouncing that Serrano. You're just hanging out with like a bunch of idiots. That's all that is. You need smarter friends. At Zach Packlib, what's the most disappointed you've been by a rap album you were excited for? Oh, No Ceilings by Lil Wayne. That was a bad one. That was a bad one. No thanks. Is that the one that had the Little B song on it?
Yeah.
I think so. I don't remember. It was bad. I just remember listening to No Ceilings. I was at my mom's house. I downloaded it. I like made a night of it. Was laying on the couch, had my headphones in, and then as soon as it was done, I got up and I took my headphones off, and I went to the computer and I deleted it. It was really bad. At Philly_Mick88, if you could rewatch only one basketball game, what one would it be? If I'm rewatching it for the first time and I don't know what's going to happen at the end, give me Game 5 of the 2004 NBA Finals when the Spurs won that championship. That's still, to me, the most excited I've ever been watching a basketball game was that one, because we weren't supposed to win. Nobody knew what we were going to do. Next question. Come on, Sean, get it together. At Random in Sports, John Wick versus Jason Bourne in a fight to the death. Who do you got? John Wick. Jason Bourne is not that great when it comes to that sort of thing because he's a little too flashy is the problem. John Wick is not about like style points. He's just going to fucking put one in your head and keep it moving. At Broke Homie Drew, where did you take the goat, my wife, to eat in L.A.? Oh, this is a perfect answer. I took her to Denny's.
The one right there?
It was right across the street. She was really excited to taste some Los Angeles cuisine. And I walked. I was like, just come with me. I know exactly where we're going. And we walked into Denny's, and she was so sad. It was the saddest she's been in a long time. At Best Worst John, are you going to wear your Kendrick Cortezes outside of the house? The new Kendrick Lamar version of the Nike Cortez? No, I am not. I ordered a pair so that I can put them up on my wall and never wear them. I feel like I was just talking about this with one of my uncles. All these shoes that came out that were really cool that I wanted when I was a kid, I don't think I can wear them anymore. Like I would look ridiculous walking around in like Jordan 3s. That's just not, I just don't look like I have the right for that It doesn't look cool. So I'm buying these shoes now where people are sending them to me, shoes that I wanted when I was a kid, not to wear because I think I would look like an idiot, but to like have as little pieces of art. At JiffyPop42, what's your top 5 sports video games of all time? Give me NBA Jam. Give me NBA Jam would be 1. Tecmo Super Bowl 2. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out 3. Fight Night Round 2 on the original Xbox. Because you can customize your fighter, and I could make one that looked exactly like me. And I could also make one that looked exactly like my dad, and then they fight. I remember doing that when I was in college. And then for the last one, give me Is a fighting game a sports game? Do we count that? I mean, like, can I do Mortal Kombat? Yeah. All right, Mortal Kombat 2 then. I'm asking you like you know the rules to this. You're just saying yes. What was your favorite chapter to write of Basketball and Other Things? That's from @VerySolidShay. Did I send that? That's my burner account. My favorite chapter to write in that one was, there's one that's like the script of a fake action movie that I made up. And that was my favorite one. It wasn't like just a lot of actual fun, but all the other ones took a great deal of research to write. Like you fucking have to research for 3-4 days, a week or 2 sometimes to write a chapter. You need all of the information you need. But with that one, I didn't need any information because I was just making all this shit up. It took me like 45 minutes to write that chapter. And in my head, I was like, I got paid X amount for the book, and there are 33 chapters, so every time I finish a chapter, I make this much money. And I was like, that's the fastest I've ever made money, was writing that one chapter, 45 minutes. Who is the handsomest, I'll just change it, who's the most handsome NBA player right now? Serge Ibaka. There's just something about him.
My wife agrees.
See? There's just something. He's got an electricity to him. And I met him one time and he smelled really good. Really good. @GoodRossStrack. When are we getting your TV show with Ken Tremendous? Shay, you don't have to answer this one if you don't want to.
Maybe put that first.
Oh, yeah. I don't know when we're getting that TV show with Ken Tremendous, but shout out Mike. Mike is like one of my favorite people I've ever met. I was out here like pitching ideas to different TV people. I must have met 15 or 20 of them. I got along with like 3 of them. But Mike, I went into his office and sat down. First of all, I had no idea who I was going to meet. I just had this list in my phone, like, be here at this time, be here at that time. And I got to the lot and I said, I'm here to meet Mike, and they let me in. And I'm walking and I walk in and I see it's fucking Mose from The Office. And I was like, oh shit, what's up, man? And then I looked around and I saw all the posters of all of the TV shows he had done. And it was like all TV shows that I watched and I liked. And he's like a super powerful guy, but when you meet him, he's whatever, he's just talking about whatever. We met for like an hour and we spent maybe 55 minutes of that just talking about basketball or whatever bullshit. And then at the end, he was like, then we talked about TV stuff. Mike is the best. Mike's great. Twitch. What's your order from Bill Miller's? When I go to Bill Miller's, I pull into the driving lot, and then when they say, hey, this is welcome to Bill Miller's, how may I help you? Then I shout, you suck. And then I drive away and I go to a better restaurant. Bill Miller's is terrible. That's like a fast food barbecue place in San Antonio. It's really bad. Was that Hoff Spurs? Luis Miguel or Ricky Martin? Ricky Martin. Ricky was popular when I was in high school. Everybody wanted to be Ricky Martin. I wanted to cut my hair like him. He's great. What is this? Fluky_Flit? What are y'all doing with your names? What are you doing? Where were you when you found out that Obama read and liked your book? What was that like? I was sitting on my couch. It happened on December 31st. I remember because Laramie, my wife, had taken the boys and they were off doing like a little celebration thing. And so I was just there. I was watching the TV show and my phone was sitting there and it started to buzz. And then I looked and I saw the list. Somebody had like posted a picture of it on Twitter and said, congratulations. And I was like, well, that's fake. And I just put my phone down and then I kept watching the show and then it started buzz. It started fucking going crazy. And then I looked and the more I scrolled, it was like picture after picture, all kinds of shit going on. So then I went on Facebook and like checked on there and saw that it was like a real thing. It felt cool. Like that's the thing that, when does that happen? Who does that happen for, you know? Being on the bestseller list was really cool. Being number 1 on the bestseller list was cooler than that. But that comes out every week, and there are like several lists. The Obama list came out one time, and there were only like 12 names on there. So I was really pumped. I was most excited because I knew from then going forward, no matter what else, if like you write a book and it's a bestseller and everybody loves it, I could be like, you weren't on the list, sorry. You know what I'm saying? You'll get there. I mean, but that was like, it was just another card that I was able to play. LFC_Salida, what are Shea's thoughts? What are my thoughts on this season of the Mayans so far? This is what I do when a new TV show is coming out that I want to watch. I wrote about the Mayans because they sent me the first 2 episodes, so I watched them early because I wanted to write about it. But ever since then, I've just been recording them so that I can watch them all at once. But the first 2 that I saw, I really liked. I mean, I was a big Sons of Anarchy fan. And they were like Sons of Anarchy plus Mexicans. Like, how am I not going to like it? Even if I didn't like it, I'm not going to say I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we just got to sneak some past. Wonder Bro, would you rather hit a game winner in a playoff series you eventually lose, or be a 12th man, did not play on a championship team? Give me the game winner. I want to do that. I don't want to win a ring and they're like, oh, you were on that team? I don't want to be that guy. I want to be like Reggie. Like, I want to hit all the points, 8 points in 9 seconds or whatever, and then lose the series. If Shea remade Face Off with any 2 NBA players, past or present, who are they? I'm going to do it with David Robinson and Vinny Del Negro. I want a big, tall, black man and a shorter, is he Italian? A white Italian man? That way when they take their faces off, it's like, hey, we know you're David Robinson because you're still 7 feet tall. Yeah. Razor Square. Have you gotten the Big Red sponsorship yet? I have not. Big Red, what are you doing? Cut the check. Roy Betos. Who are your writing heroes, Shea? There are a bunch of people that I read when I'm writing that I like just try to rip off. It started especially when I first was trying to become a writer. I was reading a lot of Chuck Klosterman. I really liked him. I was reading a lot of Bill. I was reading a lot. Like, I had a list of people like that, and then I started reading magazines, and I found this guy named Chris X, who writes a lot of rap stuff, or he was at the time. And then I find, like, Gia Tolentino. This is even more recently. Gia Tolentino's at the New Yorker, or Doreen St. Felix also at the New Yorker. They're both are just, like, miles ahead of me. At the Ringer, Sean Fennessy is miles ahead of me. There are people like that, Wesley Morris, who you read them and you go like, I don't write this way. I would love to be able to write this way. You're just sort of in awe of what they do. So those are the ones I always throw out there first, yeah. Eduardo Romo, is there any definitive San Antonio rap song? And if so, what is it? There are actually several really good rappers in San Antonio right now. If I have to pick a song that I really like that represents San Antonio, it's a recent one. There's a kid, his name is Southside Hoodlum, and he has a song called Indian Creek, which is a neighborhood like next to where I grew up. There's 3 or 4 neighborhoods right there. There's Valley High, there's Sky Harbor, and there's Indian Creek. And Indian Creek was like the worst of all 3 of them. They were all bad. Sky Harbor was like medium bad. Indian Creek was like, remember in I Am Legend when he was always trying to like be in the house at nighttime? Like, that's what Indian Creek was like. You just don't go outside at night. It's really bad things happen. But he has a song about that I really like. So I'll go with that one. Jacob Berwick Daub. What is your favorite Young Thug noise? And please try to make it. Oh, you can't make a Young Thug noise. I talked to Micah Peters about this on his podcast about music. His On Shuffle podcast, which is really good. There's no way to replicate the Young Thug noise, which is why Young Thug has been able to continue existing as like this cool rap force. Nobody can do what he does, even though there are a line of people behind him who have been trying to do it. John Libby, can you quickly do a Kawhi laugh? No, that's the same as a Young Thug. Richie, you could do it? Do it, Richie. Do it.
It's like Young Thug. You can't do it.
All right, I'll take that. Mayor Levine. Is that Levine? I never know. That's the thing about reading on the internet all the time is you don't know how to pronounce a lot of words. If you could star in an action movie, what would the plot be? The plot would be me trying to get a podcast at the Ringer. And I've got to take down all of the AV team who won't give me one. Next one, Omar G8 something. Do you remember the moment you fell in love with the Oregon Ducks? Also, you should come to Eugene for a game sometime. I am coming to Eugene on November 9th to do like a speaking engagement at the University of Oregon. And then the Ducks play on the 10th. I'm going to go to that. But I do remember the first time I like noticed the Ducks. It was right when it was during the basketball season, the college season, and they have a guard on there. Her name is Aina Ayuso, and she had a play where she crossed over her defender at the three-point line, and the defender fell down, and then she pump faked the next defender and drove in and laid it up. And I was like, anytime a person makes another person fall down, I like it. So I noticed that, and I shared that. And then it happened again when the tournament started. I was just scrolling through Twitter, clips were coming around, another clip of Ina crossing over a defender and falling down, and I was like, okay, who does she play for? This is going to be my team. And then that's how I started watching them. And then you start watching, and then you find out, like, oh, she's just a freshman guard. They've got other players who are somehow better than her. They've got Sabrina and Ruthie and Maitha. You just, like, grow into it. But, yeah, that's my team now.
We're about 30 minutes in.
Okay.
You want to do these last two?
Yeah, we'll do a few more. How did you meet Arturo? That's from Joe. I was at a Bill Miller's drive-thru, and he was working the window. That's how I met Arturo. That's not true. That's not true at all. He did a flyer for a rap group that I like in Dallas called The Outfit Texas, and when you write a book, they give you like a year to write the book, or they gave me a year, and I was working on the rap yearbook, and I waited until like November to start, and it was due the next month. There's some crazy shit like this. And I was supposed to have been doing all the illustrations as well as writing, but I knew I wasn't going to have time to do it. So I was actively looking for an illustrator, and I saw that flyer on Twitter or on Facebook or something like that, and I knew that was the kind of art I wanted, so I just found him through that. What song, this is from Tony, what song do you want playing in the background while you walk away from an explosion in slow motion? I want a song by Journey. I want Don't Stop Believin'. And I don't know why, but I feel like that would work out really well. If somebody could make that for me on Twitter, I'd really appreciate it. Shea, will you coach your kids' teams for any sport? And if so, will you act like Will Ferrell? I did this. I made this mistake. I was not a coach of the team, but I was like the dad who shows up to the games and yells at everybody. I have 3 kids, the twins and the smaller one, the baby. And the twins were in all of the sports. They did a couple seasons of soccer. They did baseball. They did basketball. I didn't let them do football because I don't want them banging their little heads around. But they did everything else. So I was like really into it. And this was a basketball season one year, and they were out there playing. And I felt like they weren't playing as hard as they should have been. And so as soon as the game was over, I was hardcore yelling at them in the gym, really just like laying into them. Who taught you how to play like that? That's not how a Serrano plays. Meanwhile, like I'm giving them this spiel knowing I quit that shit all of the time. But I'm like trying to put that in them that we don't do that. And I was like really just screaming at them in their faces very loud, and I realized like everybody's, like I look up and all the other parents are looking at me. And then I looked at the boys and I realized they're fucking 4 years old when I was doing this. And I was really getting after them. And I talked to my wife about it. And I was like, that was a big mistake. I should not do that. I'm not going to be that kind of guy anymore. So, I don't know. I probably won't coach them if they play a thing. They've gone the other way. They'll play sports with me. We play basketball all the time. But they, left to their own devices, they're like arty kids. They draw really well. They can play instruments. They can play the keyboard. One of them plays the trumpet. The other one plays the clarinet. They can play the drums. They're good at that. Like you just give them an instrument and they can figure it out. So they'll probably keep going that way, which is cool. They're in the band right now, which I really like. Who's your starting 5 on your all petty team? I'm always going to put Tim Duncan on every team. I feel like he was secretly very petty. Remember they have the one clip of him when he's like laughing at Dwight Howard after he that's great. I like that. So give me Tim Duncan, and then you can plug in whoever else you want on there. That's it. All right. Thanks, guys.